Hello and welcome to TableTakes, presented by Gen Con. My name is Emma. I'm joined today by Bonsai, Isabella, and special guest Michelle. Thank you all for joining me today as we talk about some board game news.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, excited.
All right, before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about what we've been up to. Bonsai, sounds like you've been getting some love, as it were, dealing some love. Tell me about what this thing is. I don't know too much about this thing that you're into.
So like many of the very thirsty people here on the internet, I've been into Boyfriend Dungeon, which is a video game where you are the wielder and all of your weapons can transform into humanoids as well. Even though it is called Boyfriend Dungeon, they have a bunch of variety of characters that are non-binary and female presenting as well. So I will tell you, no spoilers, but I have two people that I am wooing romantically, which is a dagger, Valeria the dagger, and Isaac the fencing sword. Much swooning, much weapon use, and much very interesting ways, double entendres of weapon wielding plus romancing. And if you like kind of almost like bullet hells, like what's it called? Well, just a lot of games like Hades, like those kind of games, they're coming full circle. They're like, oh, if we just put really pretty people in, everyone will buy our game.
I'm so excited. It makes me so happy. The only part that makes me sad is I don't want to say I can't do this type of game. It's just really just the Twitch buttons and controllers is not saying I'm good at. It's not saying that's fun for me. I want to do the dating part, but I have to get through the roguelike part of it. I can't do that. Usually I make Phil be like Hades. Phil pressed all the buttons and I just told him all the stuff to do and all the people
you outsourced your gameplay.
Yeah. We played together. He pressed the button. I'm the backseat gamer. No, he loves that part. So
I've been trying to beat Meg for like 6 weeks now in Hades, and you just outsourced your gameplay.
Yeah. It's great. I don't know if they'll do that for Boyfriend Dungeon though. Maybe we'll see.
I definitely need to play Boyfriend Dungeon. I've been meaning to, and I just keep forgetting because moving.
Yeah, I'm busy. Speaking of which, Michelle, what have you been up to?
Oh yeah, so I recently moved here to Boston, which I've been here for about 3 weeks, which is very exciting and also very new. We just got a new house, which is like, in this economy, how did we even? And awesome. we got very, very, very lucky. And so it's been a cycle of like unpacking, figuring out where things are. The previous owners really loved the color gray. So figuring out like how to accommodate for that. There's just everything in this house is shades of gray. Like there's at least, I think, 4 shades of gray. I don't think there's a full 50. I'm so sorry, friends. All you E.L. James fans out there, I'm so sorry. There's no hidden playroom because of all the 50 shades of gray. But yeah, I've just been doing that. And when I've had the time, also writing a bit, doing some development with world building with my hopefully what will eventually become my first campaign setting for D&D 5e. Yay, I'm very excited about that, working some things out. And in other news, I also splurged way too much money on these really nice candles from A24 that are like, they like each candle is scented like a genre of movie. And I'm like, I can't not.
The A24 gift shop is a trap where they take all your money. It's a dangerous place. I just ordered the Moonlight book, the Zola book. It's a dangerous place.
Yeah, no, I have candles that smell like fantasy, rom-com, and adventure, and I'm like, oh, they smell so good.
And that reminds you saw The Green Knight too, right?
I haven't seen The Green Knight yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay.
I need to see it.
Okay. If you guys like fantasy, not to intrude on your stuff, but if you like A24 and you like fantasy stuff, The Green Knight is so good. Also, Dev Patel, a snack. Just
The
saying.
candle for fantasy smells like what the movie would be.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to get these candles now. I can't believe
I'm
this.
sorry.
No, I'm gonna splurge on these.
They're expensive. Don't
Do it.
do as I
me
say,
do
not as I did.
Wait, so Isabel, how scary would you say Green Knight is?
Oh, I wouldn't say scary at all. I
Okay.
would say that it's a full Arthurian legend. It's a really great revision on the Arthurian legend. And it really, does it look scary to you, Emma, the trailer?
It looks like they're hiding something from me and they're trying to trick me with just something absolutely gruesome that's going to traumatize me.
Oh no. Oh no. It's a story. This doesn't really spoil anything, but it's really a story about manhood. It's a story about becoming a man and what does that mean? And using the Arthurian legend of sort of like, I'm writing into my destiny and this is how I become a man, is by my adventures. And it's really redoing that whole idea of what does it mean to become a man, and a lot of very cool fantasy. There's one spooky part, but it's not gruesome. It's just a little spooky.
Okay.
I think you'd really like it.
And
Awesome.
I think it's also okay to spoil a story that has literally been around for 1,000 years.
Okay.
So,
some people haven't gotten around to it yet.
So spoilers, just saying it's also been around for a while.
But I will say the thing that I did see that was super spooky that you would probably hate, Emma. I went to go see.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh.
I went to go see Candyman. I've already said it twice now. I can't say it again. I went to see it Tuesday in an advanced screening of it, and it is spooky. It really is super gnarly. If you're a big fan of the first one, this one is not a reboot, not a remake. It's sort of a movie that's like in conversation with the first one. So it takes some of the elements of the first movie, that were kind of not culturally sensitive, not culturally aware. If you know the first movie, you kind of understand the dynamic of Cabrini Green, this ghetto that this white woman is kind of going into. She meets the spirit of this person named Seaman, and horrible things happen. And this new movie, which is produced by Jordan Peele, directed by Nia DaCosta, written and by Nia DaCosta, Jordan Peele, and I can't remember the name of the third person. This movie is sort of a view of the first movie from the perspectives of the people that sort of are inside of the housing project, inside of the projects. So the first movie was sort of this perspective of like going in and it's so dark and scary, and this one is really like from the people who live there, and I really like that. There are also some gnarly kills in this movie, and for sure when I came home, I brushed my teeth looking down. I washed my face looking down. I went past the two vanities that I have in my house and immediately went to bed.
The whole time, just like, nope.
Yeah.
So I need to just watch the synopsis, not the real one. I just need to watch the educational synopsis of it.
Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with Bonzo. Like, I need like the YouTube like film review, or like someone who went to film school just goes into it for me.
It's so good.
Thank you, Foundflix.
It's so good. It's so spooky, and for sure after that, I'm never going to call his name. I'm scared of bees. But you gotta watch it. It's good.
I'm already scared of all those things. All right. With all that, we're going to, I guess what I've been up to. I'm working on a game. It's going well, so that's cool. I don't have too much to say about it, but I'm going to be playtesting it, and hopefully it's about making constellations. So
nice.
People are going to test it out. So I'm excited about that. And with that, we're going to dive right into the news. We're going to start off on a exciting, friendly, meaty note with a new surprise. I know it's first article. It's about dice. We're just going to get it over with. Arby's dice. to be specific.
Gonna sink our teeth into those math meat.
I just don't understand. So Arby's is, if you guys haven't seen Arby's Twitter account is like, is so nerdy. They make so many references on this Twitter account.
It's good. Yeah.
It's good. It's whoever is the absolute weeb who runs the Arby's Twitter account. They are super nerd, and they've carved this weird niche of being like the nerdiest fast food restaurant chain. I don't get why or how that happened, but it happened. And now they have Arby's Dice. And the thing is that they tweeted out, they were like, y'all have been asking for this. Now here it is. And I'm like, did we? Did we know? Who asked for this dice? Quite frankly, Emma, what's inside of what's special about this Arby's dice?
To be clear, it's a little hard to tell from the picture, as we were talking about before the show.
Sorry, I had opinions.
We're throwing a lot of shade at whoever took the picture. The art they usually have for their posts, very elaborate, very well done. The dice were a little hard to picture. I want to have my, they could have done a little more effort, like slow motion, like pouring the gravy on the dice, rolling the dice.
The dice comes out of the gravy.
Yeah. Someone biting into a sandwich and the dice come out of it. I just think they could have put a little more effort into it.
You're taking that this meme joke so seriously.
Come to Arby's.
They're sold
every
out.
Sandwich is a crit success.
I feel like if you roll the dice and it doesn't smell like a hot roast beef sandwich every single time that you roll the dice.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Just scented dice.
Yeah.
Is Arby's only like within the United States, or is it, just wondering if any of our international folks are like, if you're all like, what is this place?
Oh God, I hope not. I would be.
How can you explain?
Done that.
How can you explain Arby's?
How can you explain Arby's?
I've never actually been to. Have you all been to an Arby's?
Yeah, I've been to Arby's.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The dips gotta be the only one, which is
so Maine. Okay, I don't think they have them there.
And Arby's is basically the restaurant that you go to and you have no other choice.
Yeah.
Their signature sandwich is a roast beef sandwich that you can dip in au jus. Author, nobody asked for your hot takes on Arby's. And they make curly fries. That's also one of their signatures. And it's not great, but it's a place that you can go to get meat sandwiches. Mm-hmm. Their whole thing used to be back in the 90s, this kind of like Western thing. I don't know if y'all remember.
The sign was like a hat.
It's like a 10-gallon hat.
It's a 10-gallon hat. Yeah. So it's supposed to be this cowboy, like, yeah, I heard cattle all day. I know me a good roast beef sandwich. I look at Betsy next to me as we get along this trail to Colorado.
Yeah, it's supposed to be meaty.
Yeah, that's it. That's their whole brand, is just meat sandwiches.
So I will say, some people, like, depending on whatever you grew up with when you were young and you had that experience, you get a nostalgia for it. It's like with me with McDonald's. I know it's not great, but I have this, it like programs your brain chemistry for the rest of your life.
which is a huge shame, because none of these dice contain meat.
Right.
Yeah, for us 90s kids, like, there is zero. So it says here, by popular demand, Arby's dice are here, each featuring a tiny signature Arby's hat encased within.
Okay, so I couldn't even tell, like, looking at the picture of it.
I love how critical you are of this picture. This one thing set you off so bad.
It's just like, we're done here.
Well, yeah, because we expect quality photos in our dice now. Haven't you seen all the Kickstarters that are on?
Y'all are spoiled. You're spoiled.
Inclusions in dice is a known territory at this point. Like, you could have had a whole full miniature meal implanted inside of the die.
This is round one dice. Okay, when they do the next rollout and you successfully send your email with all of your complaints, then I think for their second round, they'll do better.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, all the fast food joints, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, you got to get on this. Look, the dice are sold out. So they know that they're popular. Everyone's got to start stepping up their game and making fast food dice, and I will buy all of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's going to be, McDonald's is going to have like tiny little Burger King heads, like that creepy mascot.
Yeah, the Burger
I would be one of those people if they made it like a happy kids or big kids happy kids meal. I would buy so many just to get the full set.
But I'm buying all the things. So there's going to be more things to buy, not board games specifically, but based off of board games. Bonsai, do you want to tip us off to the new world that is opening up for us?
All right, it's time for that perfect marriage between comic books and board games coming in. Oops. There hasn't been a lot of information released just yet, but Source Point Press is working with Asmodee to bring comic books out of 3 of their more popular board games / card games. So, hey, in the future, they suggest like around 2022, these comic books are going to be released. The 3 games in question: Pandemic, Mysterium, and Legend of the Five Rings. So I'm just kind of curious who the artist is going to be. Not, like I said, not a lot of detail has been released. The date of their proposed like first comic books are supposed to be coming out in 2022. So we'll just have to see what story they choose, because I know that Legend of the Five Rings and Pandemic both have somewhat notable characters that people can like attach to and get involved with in the comics. But Mysterium is
it's like a fancier Clue. Clue. No, it's not actually, because Clue has characters. Clue had an amazing movie made from it. So it's not anything like that. It's just there's not really people in it. I guess kind of. I'm trying to remember back. It's more about like you're trying to figure out the place and from these like really mysterious looking pictures. Fun game for sure, but making a whole comic book out of that, it's like it's not a lot to go off of.
But yeah, so like I said, just have to wait and see. Some people in chat are saying maybe multiple choice, choose your own adventure comic book, which would be interesting. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. That's all the news I have for that. But comic books, yay!
Comic books, great. All right, so more is more, right, Michelle? What are we getting more of here?
We are getting so for all of you lovers of non-Euclidean geometry, tentacles, and elder gods, we are getting more Cthulhu. Called the Call of Cthulhu studio has just acquired a couple of properties that are essentially expanding the world that we normally see in Call of Cthulhu. Usually, when we play a Call of Cthulhu game, it's in the 20s or 30s, and it's usually set here in America. And now they've acquired Cthulhu Britannica and World War Cthulhu. So we are now going to see Cthulhu, and other this whole pantheon of elder god nonsense hit the British Isles. There's scenarios for that, and there's also going to be scenarios for World War II. So if you're looking to not just fight some Nazis and punch them in the face, but also fight some cultists of Nyarlathotep and also punch them in the face, and they could be maybe the same people. This would definitely be something you should check out.
Speaking of checking things out.
Wow.
So smooth.
That's a transition.
It's like a penguin just sliding down a glacier. Just
wowzers, Emma. Yes. Let me take a sip real quick because I'm a little thirsty. The D&D. Thank you for that collective sip. The D&D movie has officially wrapped. That's right. If you guys are a fan of this program that you're currently watching, which I know you are, you have no choice but to be a big fan of ours because we're great. You probably know how much we've been anticipating and how much I personally have been anticipating the D&D movie, not because of the fact that I am starved for any kind kind of media in particular, but I will say that every single time that anything pops up with Regé-Jean Page in it, I am so grateful to be alive. If you guys don't know, he was the Duke from Bridgerton, and he's also in this movie. The movie also stars a lot of people that you guys probably already know, like Chris Pine. They've got Michelle Rodriguez in it from the Fast and Furious movies. She is fast and very furious in that. There's a lot of different people in this. If you guys also are maybe of a certain age and you don't remember, we've already had a D&D movie in the past in the 90s. It was not great, but I have high hopes for this one. The writers are really good. There have been several interviews where they've talked about what's going into this movie. The creators of this movie are fans of D&D and have played before and grew up with playing it before, which also kind of gives me high hopes about it. The pictures that we've seen legally or otherwise from the set also look very good as well. So I'm really excited about this. It looks like the movie is slated to be released in 2023, which is too long if you ask me.
Oh God.
But I will wait with bated breath for anything with baby boy Regé-Jean Page. I'm very excited for this movie.
He's just so beautiful.
He's so beautiful.
And then Chris Pine's in there too, and he's not chopped liver either.
Listen, okay. Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I mean, like, you know, I think that there's so many different, we have no clue about what it's about. We have no clue what the plot is or anything like that, you know. But from what we've talked about, there's different kind of things that they could possibly do. This is also happening at the same time that the D&D TV show is going to Netflix as well. And looks like we're going to be getting a lot of D&D media coming at us 2022, 2023 and beyond. How do you guys feel about it?
So they wrapped filming, I guess. They film and they do other stuff. Isabella, how long does a movie take to make? Really?
Okay,
they're done with the filming.
All right.
Depends on how good the movie is.
So they're done with principal photography after this.
Okay.
And so what they'll probably do, if they say that they're wrapped completely, then that means that they're not probably doing any sort of B footage or second unit. Second unit is kind of like, you know, taking big shots of landscapes and doing things that really don't involve a lot of actors or anything like that. What they're probably going now into is post, and their post-production, I would imagine, involves a lot of special effects. I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of CGI dragons and explosions and whatnot. And that takes a solid year usually to do a lot of that post-heavy effects work. So I'm not surprised that it'll be another year for them to do all the special effects post work. That was my alarm to say that it's probably going to rain today. Thank you, alarm. If you heard that. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised. And then they're probably going to do a lot of, you know, promotion. They're going to have another year of teasing, a little sneak peek, a little, you know, stuff like that. So 2023 feels like it's far away, but I imagine they need it.
That's fair. Well, they're going to CGI the dragons, but the humans are going to be all real because they don't need no CGI on this.
Listen, they're going to make Regé-Jean Page less hot so that we'll all be able to handle it.
We were talking about like how much more hot can they make Regé-Jean Page? And I was just like, what if he's just some like very sexy, like Legolas ranger kind of dude, just like slithering up and down trees.
That's what
has like a squirrel friend. It's just like
a little squirrel, animated squirrel. Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of what we were thinking about. It's like, what could he possibly be? I was thinking maybe a bard because of the fact that like he is a musician. And so, but I think that would be too sexy. Like I can't handle him also serenading me. I can't do it. So maybe ranger. Yeah. Cause I think he could really do a great job with like,
he like makes out with you and he's like, I've left my mark on you, my hunter's mark. And just like, so sexy.
Stop.
My vote was for Warlock, most of all because that's my favorite character class, but also because of the smolder, a little bit of like darkness, conflict, like conflicted, having a patron, trying to like figure out that relationship.
You could be like a Gloomstalker Ranger.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so some time to wait before this comes to fruition. But in the meantime, it sounds like we might have other D&D stuff to look forward to. Bonsai, maybe. Whispers, hints.
Yes. All right. With all of this talk of D&D, welcome to this is put your tinfoil hats on for this segment of this thing. So, hey, guess what? For D&D folks, WotC recently put out a survey dealing with like aiming at like Players Handbook Survey, or especially focusing on subclasses and what people really want and what are people really asking for in a lot of like things that they can improve or stuff about subclasses, because they've been doing a lot of things about subclasses, dragons. If you're into the Unearthed Arcana, you just get in so much about these things, which has a lot of people talking about maybe arguably another Player's Handbook 2. Even though I know this has been a thing we've discussed multiple times, I still am on the opinion that Xanathar's Guide to Everything is kind of the unofficial Player's Handbook 2 in this realm. But besides that, each of these, are arguably, they're also hinting at like options in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything as well. Just building on the success of these books, they just keep introducing more and more because they want to make sure that all the subclasses aren't either too OP or too like problematic with a lot of their like how the warlocks didn't. A lot of the warlock subclasses didn't actually mesh really well together. But it has people really talking that maybe with all of these things that are coming in, there is possibly hinting at a 5.5 edition or a 6th edition D&D book. That's just part of my crazy little world, especially with all this D&D stuff coming around and people getting into D&D. What's the perfect thing to add into this like D&D movie Netflix series? A 6th edition that you can have a whole new generation of people, getting in on D&D. 6th edition, bring them in.
I like how
it's been like 5 years.
Down here.
5 years since they did it. Just think about it, though.
I don't think this is a conspiracy theory. I think that D&D, they had their highest grossing year financially ever. I think with like the movie coming out, the TV show coming out, they would be crazy to not strike and try to like, cash in on all of that. I do think that it's a financial thing. I'm with you. Let's both put on our tinfoil hats. Actually, we don't even need them because we're getting like our third eye is wide open. Like, I think that you are like really onto something.
I have to disagree. I think it's way too risky for them. Every time they've moved to a new edition, it's been an absolute upheaval. People have gotten so mad about it. Nerd rage coming out of the woodwork just to hate everything about it. And that's happened every single time that a transition has been made. So like Derek is saying in the chat, like right now that is bigger than ever, why would they not just pump out more Xanathar's guides, more guides and stuff? Because everybody who has the edition, are they ever going to do a 6th edition, right? Like what is the benefit to that? I think they could fix a lot of stuff in there probably, and I'm sure they have a lot of ideas for it. It's just, when would it possibly be the right time? Maybe when it starts to flag, like Vindra's wanes, they might do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I do think that the key to moving forward right now, at least in the immediate future, appears to be essentially just releasing a ton of new source books, like the new Dragons book that's coming out later this year, which is really exciting. We also had Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And we have like the Feywild coming out soon. There's a bunch of new source books and like companions and things like that. So I think that for at least the next couple of years, it's going to maybe be a thing. But I think that there's maybe some merit to the idea that they are collecting a lot of stuff. So eventually, maybe probably not anytime soon, but I would be very interested to see what they do with this information as they do these surveys, whether or not they decide to release a new source book, Players Handbook, like maybe 5 to 10 years down the road, or if they just use the information to do like a patch or whatnot.
Yeah, I can kind of see him being a little stealthy about it because the big changes, like a new edition, even if it doesn't change that much, people freak out, right? Like 6E, everyone's like, but it's like 5E revised, not even 5.5, but revised, and they like print a new book and they just like sneak some changes in there, like make a new, like a fancy version, and some of the stuff inside has changed, just kind of like slowly shift it in that way.
Yeah, but whatever the case is, the survey is still going on. So if you want to go ahead and want your opinions heard about subclasses and things that you would like to see change, especially if you experienced a lot of stuff in Unearthed Arcana, go ahead and check out the site so you can go ahead and talk about your opinion. I did the survey myself. It goes very in depth with all the various different subclasses and what it can break down into. So it'd be very just interesting for you to take.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
So is there anything else on that subject, or should I?
I mean, if they're going, they should definitely, in addition to these source books, also release a source book with just character bios and stats for, some of the characters in the D&D movies, such as perhaps Anna Jean-Fer.
Yeah. I know, right? Like we can have all the characters, all the stats in here. Absolutely.
Yes, and like maybe just give him like a real high AC because he's got really nice cheeks.
Yes. Speaking my language.
Just deflect.
He just turns around. If he can spend like half his movement to turn around, and then his AC goes up by 10. Like I'm just saying.
All right. So lots of fun stuff today. Unfortunately, as too often is the case these days, we have some not as fun stuff to talk about. Isabella, if you want to kick off our serious topic of the day.
Yeah. So if you guys have heard, so caveat, we're going to be talking about some really problematic sort of things. So please check the chat for resources. We're going to be talking about some issues of harassment, sexual harassment, and also racist harassment as well. If you guys don't know, but Twitch has had a couple of issues with, actually not a couple, more than a couple of issues with hate raids. It's been going on for a very long time now, but it seems to be exacerbated in the recent weeks and months. There have been a lot of really horrific hate raids that have happened on the platform, and a lot of people, myself included, feel as though Twitch isn't really doing enough to engage with those things and to nip it entirely in the bud. So on September 1st, a number of streamers have organized themselves to do a boycott where they will not be streaming at all on September 1st. This is a day off of Twitch, which is the hashtag that people are using. This was organized by streamers Wreck-It Raven, Lucia Everblack, and Shiny Pin. And this idea of staying off of Twitch for a day is... am I back again? Did I blink? I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So this is a boycott. The thing, though, that's really kind of complicated about all of these things is that a lot of people have been chiming in with is this idea of like, what is going to cause meaningful change? One. Two, what is not going to put more people of color and more women and trans people in harm's way? And three, what is meaningful action that doesn't feel as though it's performative action? It's kind of complicated. There's also been a hashtag that was started called hashtag Twitch Do Better, which started in early August as well. Not enough has been done since then. And this idea doing a day off. Now, there's been some really great points on either side about how to handle something like this. I think that there are pros and there are cons about how to do this. Tanya DePass, a friend of the show, one of the best creators out there, has a lot of thoughts about it. And I agree with hers as well about this idea that it's complex. So one is staying off of Twitch is kind of the only power that a lot of people do have, right? That they can, because Twitch needs you. Like Twitch cannot function without streamers. They need streamers in order to make their revenue and to make their money. And if streamers say we will not be streaming, that's really kind of the most collective power that streamers can have against Twitch. So by taking that and saying we will not produce your content for you until you listen to us is the most power that a lot of have. But there are also some people who are under contractual obligations to stream, so they can't pull their streams for those days. And those people should not have the kind of pressure that they're not performing the right moves in order to be seen as woke or to be seen as aware, because a lot of people have no choice. They have to do it. It's their job. They can't pull their streams. So this idea that a lot of people have said where they're like, if I see somebody streaming on September 1st, we're boycotting them too. That's not fair. It's not fair for everybody. And some people can't participate in it. But there are also some people who are happy that people are staying off of stream that day because they think that this is an opportunity for them to jump in and get more streams. If they have all of the woke PC people off, then they can kind of rake in those streams as well, which those people are also super problematic and, dare I say, trash people. And so I think that there's like many different kinds of things about how to handle this sort of a thing. Twitch does need to do better. They need to protect people. From the very beginning, we have told them that once you started doing those tags, yes, we love the tags. I love the tags. I'm able to find more people inside of Twitch more than I ever have before. Those tags will also make us more vulnerable. And they didn't take that into account from the very beginning. And so this was sort of inevitable that these sorts of things were going to happen. And Twitch needs to take in those kinds of protections and safeguards seriously, because a number of trans people, a number of queer people, Black people, people of color have been facing serious harassment. And it's not just your garden variety, because I've also heard the people who've been like, oh, well, if you can't handle it, then maybe you shouldn't be on stream. Having a wall of people tell you to go kill yourself is not normal harassment. That is not acceptable behavior. That is not something that somebody should have to go through. That is not something that somebody to any sort of threats of violence on your stream. I've seen those things. I've seen the N-word repeated over and over. No one should have to go through that in order to play games. Do you understand me? Like to play The Sims. You're talking about The Sims, that people are getting death threats. No one should have to go through that. So I personally will not be engaging with Twitch on September 1st. That is my choice. We all have our different reasons for what we're going to do on the 1st, and there's no judgment, but the pressure needs to be on before September 1st, on September 1st, after September 1st. We don't need to ease up off of Twitch. So,
and one of the things, again, Isabella, you make some really great points, especially that, Twitch, just general people and Twitch itself saying like, oh, well, we have tools, mods should be able to do it, all these things. It's impossible. I've seen some of the algorithms people are running to say you would have to run this algorithm for 27 days to block every variation. What we can see with our human eyes in a second to say that's a slur. Like as a streamer, I can tell that's a slur. The computer needs to run through millions of configurations to be able to create an algorithm for one single word. So it's really something that is beyond the control of anyone. And Trish needs to stand up. Mika Muka, getting that right in the chat, also had a good point. Cancel subs potentially for a lot of these people. if you are, you should be subscribing and supporting to especially smaller streamers, people from marginalized backgrounds. And that is a recommendation. If you are feeling powerless, something you can do is do a little research, find out if they have a Patreon, find out if they have a PayPal, other donation links. And that is more of a groundswell effort that you can do to find. Twitch subs are very convenient. It's can be a way to support people, but Twitch does get some of that money. So, put some of that pressure on, not forever, but say, hey, until you change this, we're going to go around this and find other ways to support the people that we care about.
Yeah.
And on alternate ways to support other content creators, especially because if you don't know, subs are 50% takeoff of what you get. Streamlabs as another little hey, there's something else as another form of ways other than Patreon and such to support your creators. Streamlabs is getting 100%. You can subscribe a monthly tip or donation to your favorite streamer. If you don't want to go through Twitch, Streamlabs is also an option to help them out. And no matter what form you're going to participate in the Twitch Do Better against the hate raids, the point is that we discuss about it, that we talk about it, that we do not let up on it. And as you can see, there's been some hints. They're starting September on September 2nd. So this is a sign that your words do matter. So even if you do choose, and if you don't have a choice and you have to stream those days, make it as an open discussion to be hey, this stuff happens. It is not something that is only affecting a small group of people. It affects everybody. And this isn't something you need a thicker skin to be a part of. This is just basic human rights and just being decent. You can't too many people rely on anonymity on the internet to say hateful, hurtful things because they have nothing better to do with their lives. And they're just hateful people in the inside anyways. So that's all I'm going to say about that, just to be how I am. But yeah, just spread the love.
On. Yeah, just so we can make sure we stay on topic here. All very important stuff. Let's go back to something exciting and fun and putting more creative and potentially awesome things into the world. Bonsai.
Hey guys, guess what that is going on? Do you like LARPing, but you don't necessarily like organizing the very, very vast amount of people, events, dialogue that comes with a lot of LARPing? Well, guess what? Golden Cobra, which started in 2014 at Gen Con, is going to be doing another event this year called the Golden Cobra Challenge. They challenge a lot of people, writers, and gaming enthusiasts to create a very simple, easy LARP that anyone can pick up on the fly. They're going to be announcing their let me take back a bit on the conversation. So if you guys don't know what this event is called, it's basically they're challenging a bunch of writers and people who like RPGs and designing RPGs, especially LARP involved, live action role play, those who don't know, to do something that is easy for folks to pick up and digest and make it be like a free form LARP session. Each time they do this, they have a set of guides, time limits, how big on what size of paper all of the rules need to be on. So everyone can have and enjoy an equal opportunity to participate in this contest. There is no prizes, no minimum late, and it's a very, very low barrier to entry. The contest explicitly is intended of helping inspiring designers build confidence and get them noticed by other folks. Last year, they did a design to accommodate, of course, the pandemic, socially distanced, friendly games. So you can LARP in a distance is the whole idea. So the themes and the rules of this year will be announced on September 2nd. So if you're excited to get in and you want your creative mind and theatricalness kid showing, go ahead and keep a lookout for the Golden Cobra.
All right, sounds great. Isabella, you want to give us some more movie news? I was gonna say movie news. Yeah.
So you guys have probably already heard this. You've probably also already seen the pictures, but the sneak peek of the Cowboy Bebop movie is out. If you are in the know, Cowboy Bebop is an anime which came out, I believe, in 2000 or 2001, directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, arguably one of the best anime series of all time. You can argue with your mama. I'm not arguing with you about that. It's a fact. One of the best soundtracks of all time. It's just a great show about a group of bounty hunters who go into space and catch bounties, but also run from their dark past and their secrets as well. It stars John Cho, who, I'm going to be very honest with you guys, I didn't believe that he was a good fit for this, but actually, now that I've seen these photos, your boy is looking good. Okay, he's out there. He's almost
50 and looks so good.
All right, what do they say? Asian don't raisin. Okay, like he is looking good. All right,
wear that SPF.
He's looking great. His hair looks great. They have a really great cast. Faye's outfit looks great. She looks covered up, like she's not gonna be cold every single moment of her life.
Yeah.
Ein is in there as well. They got the dog. And I'm actually really happy with the change that they made for oh my god, what's his name? The buddy, the iron, Jet.
Derek, help us out here.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on. I know Spike isn't
Jet.
Chief. Jet.
Yes. So they switched the races for Jet, which I think actually really makes a lot more sense. Because Jet kind of black coded in the show, but this is really great. I haven't had a lot of good experiences with Netflix adaptations in the past. The Death Note anime was particularly miserable. But at the same time, this one actually looks really good. Not for the least part that they have the original director Shinichiro Watanabe. He is coming in. He's come in as one of the creative consultants, and also Yoko Kanno is involved. So that makes me feel a little bit better about it. I'm sure that we are all going to watch it, and we're all going to post in our pictures. But yeah. I think that this one actually looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Awesome. We're gonna have to blaze through some magic news because we have so much to cover today. And usually that's me, but today I have to admit Michelle is the expert who has watched all the shows, all the awkward live streams, gotten all the news. Michelle, hit us with just the plethora, the fountain that has exploded.
Hallowed fountain tap. Sorry, it comes in tap. I'm just joking. It's fine. So anyway, so Magic the Gathering. WotC just dropped its announcement, its big announcement, showcase announcement for what we're going to expect, not only for the rest of 2021, but also 2022 and a little bit of 2023. So there's big 4 things to look out for in 2022. We've got 4 main sets. They are going to be, we're going to be revisiting a lot of places, but we're also going to be, visiting some new spots as well. So the first place we're going to head off to is a place that for years, Wizards had said that they would never revisit because it was panned so badly, but we're going back to Kamigawa, and hopefully this time we're going to do it right. They were actually going to be, this set is set 2,000 years from when the last set was historically placed. So we're going to not revisit, say, like the world of medieval samurai and Japanese feudalism in that regard. We're going to be seeing a much more Hong Kong cyberpunk Blade Runner inspired kind of world, lots of neon, and it's actually called Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. So what's exciting is that apparently they brought on quite a few cultural consultants on to help with this set, which is something we would have really loved for original Kamigawa. So hopefully we will be getting some really wonderful, really authentic, really representational storytelling with this set, and some hopefully some better mechanics as well. Like we can only go up from here, right? Like Champions, Betrayers, and Kamigawa. I drafted like one pack and was just like, what do you mean I have to pay like 5 for a Vigilance Aura? What the hell? So next we're going to be going to Dominaria. We're going to next to the Streets of New Capenna, which is basically Magic's take on the roaring 20s of New York City. But instead of the 5 Italian families, we're going to be doing the 5 demon families who have taken over this very Art Deco, Great Gatsby looking place and are basically duking it out on the streets, old school style, to see who might take the mantle. And we've already gotten some real good art of our boy Ob Nicholas, or shall we say Mob Nicholas, in some real great suits. We're looking real sharp here. Next, we're going to actually back to Dominaria for the last 2 sets. So the first is Dominaria United. We don't quite know, at least I can't think of offhand, like what, I think this is the modern Dominaria right after everything that's just happened within the lore. But we're going to be seeing a new Dominaria there. And then we're going to go back in time to one of the biggest events within Magic lore, which is the Brothers' War between Urza and Mishra. And trust me, there are no real winners in this war. It's just a lot of people not talking to each other and making bad decisions.
I recommend looking up the lore of that. I read a little bit of it today in preparation, and there's some. It's all dark. It's all bad. It's all sad, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's sad. Urza definitely, I guess, technically on the side of the angels, but has some real not great ways of going about things. So I'm very interested to see what they'll do with this set. I think there's a lot of opportunity for more. But yeah, other than that, we are also coming out with Unfinity, which is the newest unset. I know it just seems like Unstable was yesterday, but we're going to space this time. And Mark Rosewater has emphasized that this is going to be very much like cartoony, pulpy sci-fi. We're going to be going on this like really cool amusement park carnival kind of atmosphere in space, and there's going to be full art lands again, but they're going to be space themed. So space swamps and space mountains, here we come. Or actually, yeah, Space Mountain, right? Yeah, we're going to be going to Space Mountain. We're going to Space Mountain. And we're also looking at a few cool new crossovers for IPs. So we got a taste this year of Dungeons and Dragons, but we're also heading off to some really cool climbs. For example, Warhammer 40K is making its first Magic the Gathering crossover appearance. It's going to be encapsulated in 4 commander decks, which will be sold together, and also a special limited edition secret lair. So we're going to be getting a couple little products there. We're also getting Fortnite, which is like, what now?
Okay, sure.
Fortnite, question mark, do the dance. And we're also getting Street Fighter, which is something I'm very excited about as the person who really loved the terrible movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Kylie Minogue, Ming-Na Wen, and Raul Julia. I hope there's like a course, one that says like a card that's like counter spell. It's like, of course.
Yeah, they need to make an homage.
For me, it was Tuesday.
Yes.
And last but not least, Chun-Li's there, and apparently they gave her multi-kicker, so everyone could calm down. And last but not least, in 2023, we are going to be getting its own block, its own set, Lord of the Rings. So not quite in time for the 20th anniversary of the films, but close enough. And so we'll see if this time you can get Frodo on an eagle and fly him to Mount Doom to drop it in.
Wow.
It's like the eagle's like a vehicle, so you like crew.
Yeah.
You just Hobbit crew it and then just like get over to Mount Doom.
Yeah. So it's not going to be one of the standard sets. It's going to be modern legal, but it is going to be draftable on Arena apparently. So I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be drafting this Lord of the Rings set. We'll see how it goes.
I'm going to make some potatoes. I'm going to boil some. I'm going to mash them. I'm going to stick them in a stew, and then I'm going to play Arena.
Initiators. All right. So we have an interview coming up later. So we have a few minutes left before that to cover our stuff. Isabella, if you want to hit us, I believe it was Isabella hitting us with a bundle real quick.
Yeah, so we've got the Shadowrun 6th edition stories. This is based on, it's the newest edition of the popular Shadowrun series. If you're into cyberpunk and all those kinds of things, you can check this one out. You can get the beginner's box and a large fiction anthology for only $7.95. You can also level up for about $18 to get the core rules book and 7 more Shadowrun novels. So if you're trying to get into Shadowrun, now is your opportunity to get in there pretty cheaply, pretty affordably. And if you are also interested as well, 10% of the payment goes to the Shadowrun Fiction official designated charity, which is the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America, a great group of people who write great science fiction and fantasy. So you can get into Shadowrun, get into that world, and also help a really great cause as well. So check it out.
Cool. And last but not least, we have a couple of Kickstarters. I guess I can be the Kickstarter queen for today, but I'm just going to hand it right back to you, Isabella, because you got the goods here. What are we spending our money on other than candles? Candles and...
I have 2 Kickstarters. So one is called The Coding History 3D from Mode 7 to Doom. This one ends Thursday, September 23rd. This is a 7-part tutorial series. So basically you're trying to learn how to, if you're old like me, and you remember playing 3D games on your computer in the 80s and 90s, this will help you to learn how to replicate that stuff. If you remember playing Doom, even though your parents were like, that game is violent and it's going to make the children violent, which it didn't. Or Duke Nukem, another game that I was not allowed to play. Am I still here? Oh my God, I'm having Okay, great. Duke Nukem, another game that my parents said was too violent for me to play, which I played anyway because I don't care. And you can learn how to make those games just like this. You can learn sprites, ray casting, voxel terrain, binary space portals. You can make it look just like the 80s and 90s. I think this is a really cool thing. If maybe you have a game that you've already made a TTRPG and you want to adapt that into a nice 3D game as well, I would love for a lot of my games that I play to also be translated into a video game as well. This is your chance. This ends Thursday, September 23rd. So check that out. I have another one. This isn't a TTRPG game either, but it's a comic book series. It's a group of writing. It's called Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales, the North American edition. This ends Friday, September 10th. This is, it's called Woman in the Woods and Other North American Stories, is an anthology of comic books inspired by North American folktales of Native American people. So it's got the Chocfee, the Trickster Rabbit. It's got stories of the White Horse Plains, all told by Indigenous creators. This is the 5th volume inside of the Cautionary Fables, and I think I have one of them. This one is the Cautionary Fables book, which is about African stories and different kinds of fables as well. They do different stories from around the world, Asia, Africa, North America, obviously, which is this one. It's got 100 pages of comic books from Indigenous creators from different kinds of backgrounds like Cree, Choctaw, Blackfoot. This is a really, really great way of introducing yourselves into the creation of really great Indigenous comic creators and writers as well. This is also created by Iron Circus Comics, who, if you don't know, they make really great comic books. Please check them out. This one ends in the next week. It's almost September. I can't believe that. Friday, September 10th. So don't wait. Get into it. Buy it now.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have today for Table Takes. However, stay tuned because we have so much stuff coming up on the channel later today. First up, we'll be back in 5 minutes with an interview with Raffael Boccamazzo from Take This, which is a great mental health organization. We're going to talk to Raffael here in just a bit. Monzo is going to lead that off for us. So we'll be back soon. Stay in your chairs, stay put, and thanks for hanging out.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Here we have Dr. B from Take This joining us today. Hello, Dr. B. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderfully. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to have you here to talk about Take This. And for those who don't know about Take This, can you explain what your organization does for us?
Absolutely happy to talk about it all day, every day if somebody gives me the opportunity to. So Take This, when we were founded in 2012, was the very first mental health nonprofit to serve the game community exclusively. It's our community. We're all gamers. And whether it's the video game side, whether it's the tabletop side, doesn't matter. Gamers have unique needs that in terms of mental health that we like to educate on. And so we work with both the community and the industry to provide mental health resources, educate, destigmatize on mental health topics in just so many different ways.
So, I mean, if this, like, at least for me, for someone, I also struggle with a lot of like mental health issues and a lot of things. So these kind of organizations do mean a lot, especially for gamers, like, you know, because we all feel a little left out in our own world sometimes. And it's good to know that there is a community out there. So I wanted to ask, like, why is this so important to you?
Well, to me personally, for all the reasons you just said, I've been very public about my autism, and though I wasn't diagnosed until I was in my mid-30s, and growing up very much out of step with a lot of my peers because I didn't understand a lot of the social cues and the nuances that were going on. Games became my respite. Games became the areas of life where I had some sort of sense of competence and inclusion and belonging. And you know, my whole career is basically dedicated to this idea of people shouldn't have to grow up the way I grew up. And if I can make an impact in that respect, then cool. And when Take This asked me to be a part of their mission, it was an absolute no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with this, since you said like such a strong point, is there like, can you think of a one, like you probably have several, but a moment that you would like to share that just really struck you? Like, this is what we're doing here. This is why we're doing this.
Well, a lot of them. I mean, probably the program we're most famous for is our AFK rooms, which are the first mental health support rooms available at major conventions, at all the PAX events and several others. They are deceptively complicated to do well. But the feedback we've gotten from people over the years has been, I can't do an event if I didn't have the AFK room. And there's people, if you go to the same show year after year after year, there are people that we've gotten to know because they're regulars in the AFK room, that they've made that essentially a safe base from which to go out into these I mean, you've been to conventions, you know how busy they are, you know, especially exhibitor focused conventions, you know how absolutely overwhelming they can be at times.
So bad.
You know, you've got lights over here and sounds over here. Just you know, somebody's doing, I don't know, Rick and Morty cosplay and running through being obnoxious. I don't know, but it gets overwhelming quickly. And so for people to know that they, whether it's agoraphobia, sensory sensitivities, etc., social anxiety, whatever, that we allow them to engage in something they love more readily, that they wouldn't otherwise be able to have that in-person community. That's immensely gratifying.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely, I person myself who goes over it is like a lot of times somebody who's very like sensory oriented can get very overwhelmed, and it's just a nice way to take a spot to like take a breath, you know, because that's really what you need sometimes in there. I mean, more importantly, the reason why you're coming here is to talk about something that's very exciting that's coming up very soon, isn't it?
I think there is something about a charity game on this channel.
Maybe.
In like,
yeah, just like
hold on, in like an hour and some change.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. Is there something like honey bears?
Oh yeah.
involved?
Oh, we're playing Honey Heist. And for those of you who do not know Honey Heist, it is hilarious. Okay, It is simple to play. I'm going to totally promote Honey Heist right now. It is simple to play.
Do it.
One page of written notes, and the setup is always the same. You are bears. You are bears trying to liberate the pot of honey from HoneyCon, and you have a heist to plan. And you roll randomly for what kind of bears you have. I myself will be playing a retired hacker honey badger. And we're going to get that pot of honey. It's jeweled. It's gorgeous. We're going to get it. We're going to run out of there. It's going to be glorious. And we've got an amazing crew of people that we're going to be doing it with as well. Diana D'Amico over at Die Hard Dice and Barden Barbarian is going to be running things, as well as Justice Hughes, who's also part of Barden Barbarian. Mackenzie DeArmas, one of the associate producers at Dungeons and Dragons. Danny Gage, who makes amazing dice and dice accessories. And I'll be there as well. And there will be puns. So many. It will be unbearable.
Very unbearable. Oh no, yeah. So it just sounds like a very exciting like game plan, because it's goofy, it's light, it's goofy fun.
Yes.
And it's kind of somewhat like a game that is silly premise, but just dad jokes. No one can go wrong with dad jokes.
You say that, but I'm banned from them if people donate to take this at certain levels.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, so what are some of the things that people can look forward to, like the goals, you say?
Oh, well, this on our Take This stream every other Monday, the Take This plays, if they donate 1,000 bits, I have to stop making dad jokes for 15 minutes, or I start again, depending on who's making the call.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that with that. I mean, is there also one where you can do, here's an idea, interpretive dance dad jokes, just move your body.
Interpretive dad jokes. Oh my God. I'm gonna contemplate that. And part of me really wants to do it like Bob Fosse style. And I just realized I have enough hats for that. We're just going to do everything slantwise and just move like I have no bones. And we're going to do interpretive dance Fosse style.
I'm glad I could give you that inspiration for that. It's
gonna be glorious.
It's glorious. I mean, okay, let's go ahead and talk more about like how long, like if you don't mind us taking a step back to talk more about the organization itself. How long has this been around for folks?
Well, since 2012. Like most good origin stories, it's not a happy one. It was Take This was founded in a response to an associate of our founders taking his life. And the idea is, how can we get this conversation out on the table? Because the truth is that mental health challenges are considerably more common than we realize. That depending on the research you look at, between 1 in 4 and 1 in 2 people in the United States is going to be diagnosed with a mental health condition in their lifetime, whether that's a temporary diagnosis or a chronic one. It doesn't really matter. And roughly 1 in 5 in a given year. And there are a lot of people within the game industry who are still struggling in silence, whether that's in the community or in the industry itself. Those numbers are astronomical. And so this is part of the reason we do a lot of workshops behind the scenes for game companies, game studios, to help them improve mental wellness within their policies. I have lost track of how many talks on burnout I've given in the last year. Don't know why. There's been something going on on a global level, I hear. Yeah.
It was like, what is it? Like, is something just like pandemic wise that I
thought everybody was getting sandwiches. Everybody's been talking about panini.
No, panini. I've heard pepperoni pizzas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I could, especially with a lot of people are shut in. Like this is something that's very important because a lot of people are shut in, not getting for those who need those human interactions, social interactions. And you're just stuck in with your thoughts and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen, it's really interesting to see how many of these moral panic based attitudes around the quote unquote evils of gaming have changed for a lot of people within the last year when they themselves responsibly isolating, thank everybody who has, and they've been turning to games for connection. A lot of the attitudes towards how useless and how pointless and even how harmful games are starting to shift, and really most of those arguments are kind of bunk anyway. But I'm happy to see them shifting on a more massive level now that more people are getting into the stuff that we've all enjoyed for decades.
Oh yeah, now then the more acceptance to this, and especially if we're more vocal about, hey, mental health, mental being, just taking care of one's mind is just as well as taking care of one's body with this. And also, hey, if you're stuck inside, you also do a podcast, if I'm correct, for those who need a reach out as well.
Well, I do a lot of things, but the one I'm immensely proud of is a stream that I do with Codename Entertainment, the makers of Idle Champions. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, the now award-winning Golden Tabletop RP GIF award-winning Champions of Psychology that I'm one of the co-hosts. And come on by at 11 a.m. Pacific and check that out. It's real fun. We just talk psych and gaming, and you can join. And there's codes for free stuff in Idle Champions. A lot of the times we hear, "I came for the code. I'm staying for the conversation."
Oh yeah, no, that's always a really cool thing. Especially, for all of us who are really into at least especially here on Gen Con, into tabletop games and such like that. Is there especially for those who want to be more mindful of neurodivergent folks in terms of board games, is there any role-playing games you would recommend to folks,
No, because not any in particular. It's more if you are trying to be more, and I assume by neurodivergent you mean learning disabilities, ADHD, and autism.
Yes.
Okay. If by that, then honestly, I would recommend looking at different autism and neurodiversity run sites, because a lot of the charities out there are run by people who aren't neurodivergent at all. And running any game can be adapted to meet the needs of the players at your table if you're competent enough in running it. And so I can't think of any one particular game that is really geared towards neurodivergence, simply on the basis that there's so much, diversity within how folks with, how us autistic folks present, ADHD and all that. So really just learning some of those challenges. I think the Awake project is a fantastic resource for that. Level Up Autism is another one. I give talks periodically on that. I did one with Champions of Psychology. But if your players are struggling with complex rule sets because of working memory issues, stay away from anything crunchy. Yep.
Anything crunchy. That's a good recommendation.
Yeah, I avoid GURPS because I just can't keep up with it.
Yeah, again, simple games like Honey Heist is one of those things. Yeah, just to turn back all the way around. Sorry for the whiplash. We're going.
That's fantastic. It's like you do this.
Maybe. But yeah, no. I just was like I said, this is something hey, if you're interested in doing more stuff, and especially, hey, watching this wonderful human being, Dr. B, play along with several other humans, or bears, as you will, for Honey Heist.
We're definitely humans for the purposes of getting that honey pot.
Oh, yes, definitely humans, not at all bears in trench coats, at all. Yeah. So look forward to it. It's going to be right on this channel. That's happening just in a few minutes. So just sit tight, hang on. And also, Dr. B, do you have any last sayings that you want to tell folks out there who are watching right now? Just Words of wisdom, happy clouds.
Happy clouds. I would say, remember that all of your feelings every feeling serves a purpose when it's working right, but every emotion can also send up false alarms. Even fear and anxiety serve a purpose of keeping us safe. Anger lets us know when there may be some injustice going on. But listen to your feelings. And if you feel like there's something getting away from you when it comes to those, reach out to a mental health professional. And we have a lot of really great resources for that on our website at takethis.org.
Yeah, so go ahead, check that site out, takethis.org. And Mr. B, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and do an outro with you right here in my announcer's voice to go ahead and, hey, guess what? Stick around, folks. It's HoneyCon 2021. This year is the 50th anniversary event will be held at Honey World, a family-oriented theme park. At the anniversary celebration of the coveted Bejeweled Honey Pot, there will be presented to Miss Honey 2021. That is, unless it is this reunited crew of bears has anything to say about this. Using Honey Heist by Grant Howitt, the fine folks from, hey, surprise, surprise, Take This, have put together a wonderful little one-shot for us as we close out our Gen Con charity week. So, hey, fun thing, every $50 donated will allow the GM to add a little bit more chaos into the heist. So,
you want chaos. You definitely want chaos.
Oh, the chaos, So yeah, if you're looking forward to that, that is coming right after this. And also, hey, little thing, if you don't know, there's this thing that, that's happening in maybe a week or two called Gen Con. Something we might know about here on this site.
Never heard of it.
Don't know. Well, if you haven't, it is one of the biggest tabletop and role-playing conventions out there here in the United States. Gen Con, Gen Con Online is free if you can't be there in person, because either you're not vaccinated, you're just concerned, please cover up while you are traveling and please get vaccinated. But we have an online event for those who would like to still participate in all of the nerdum fun. Over 600 events for you to play. We have some of the highlights are engaging diverse voices that is happening. Paizo editorial staffers lead a discussion about finding and engaging creators that embrace diverse viewpoints to work towards a more inclusive industry. We have integrating consent cultures into RPG and LARPing. Very big thing. Hey, let's talk about X cards and what is okay and comfortable for folks to talk about. This is going to be come to learn how to how to use consent in role-playing games and create a consent-focused environment as a GM, and how to accommodate nervous players and how to set boundaries for new RPG players. And of course, you mentioned a little bit about this with your organization, Take This, as well, being part of those kind of discussions. And then also for those risque viewers, burlesque and chair dancing is also going to be on here. Helen Handsbasket will teach you sensual arts of burlesque and dancing with a chair. This class is just great for all dancers of every level. So, hey, something to look forward to for the older audience. And then also another game that we're going to be talking about is Alice is Missing. If you haven't played it, it is a text-based RPG, a silent game about a disappearance of a character called Alice Briarwood in a high school junior small town of Silent Falls. So if you're interested in that, it is a very text-based game, and for those who are, it's a very in-depth game talking about somebody who is missing. So that is something if you're intrigued with. And then also, thank you, Dr. B, for talking to us about Take This. And of course, very excited. Everyone's sticking around for that sweet, sweet golden honey. But yeah, I hope you guys all have a lovely time, and we'll see you really quick. Thank you again for joining us. Bye, friends.